North County Talk, we are live. It is not a Thursday. It's actually a Friday. So if you're joining us, we really, really do appreciate it. We had to move the episode actually from Thursday to Friday because we were advised by our medical staff to manage our minutes, weren't we, George? That was what we were told. Obviously, coming back from sort of niggles, that we just had to, get through, manage our minutes, and we're taking that on board. So, I don't know what else to say other than that. But are you hoping to be fit for the rest of the season?
I'm hoping to be, mate. Yeah. Yeah. And even if I'm on the bench, I'm just hoping I get subbed on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you could be. You could be there. Yeah, we couldn't make it last night, but also couldn't make it the week before because it was the Port Vale game, which you'd have seen me and George were at. So we're going to chat about that. We're going to chat about the Colchester game, which I had a lot to say on Twitter about. I did manage to watch it. I wasn't actually in the country, so I could watch it on whatever it's called, however you stream it from abroad. But yeah, it was what it was. So we'll get to talking about that very, very shortly. If you are listening back on Spotify, drop it that 5-star review. As you know, it massively helps us out. We massively appreciate your support. And if you are looking to get refurbished computers or computer repairs, then use the code Pavis Perspective. Visit Better Bytes in Mapley. Fantastic company. I was there today sorting out my brother-in-law's computer, took it in, Kev sorted it, got it sent off straight away for any extra parts that's needed. So yeah, fantastic company. So let's go right back to the Port Vale game because we haven't had an opportunity to talk about it, and I would like to talk about it. We were there. How frustrated were you? We're not going to dwell on this for too long because the game's gone, but genuinely, how frustrated were you with that game?
Yeah, massively frustrated, to be honest. And it wasn't so much... I don't know. It wasn't like there was a major frustration. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like there was a major obvious frustration that I felt like this has been happening week after week type thing. Obviously, there's a few. For me, it's obviously we're not taking our chances. We had some really good chances, and looking back, that chance Jata had, and Traore, that like sort of header late on. Oh my! Like they're gifts almost, and we've not put them away. And but that is the difference, isn't it? When you're chasing that automatic spot, the teams that are in those positions, they have that killer touch in the opposing 18-yard box, and they do, and they capitalize when they're on top. And that first half, we should have been 2-0 up really, and then to sort of come out in the second half and go on to lose the game 1-0, it was just. It was gutting really because you were sort of behind the squad because look, the squad was thin, wasn't it? You were behind the squad. They performed like really well in that first half, so it looked like they were well up for it. But then the second half, it wasn't as good. We were defending a lot. We couldn't really get out of our own half, could we? You saw it a lot with Bass sort of bypassing the press and going straight over to Jata, and it's the only way really that we could get out of our own half. So that's one, like obviously not taking chances, coming out, just different each half. And the other one for me is, substitutions. You're just crying out for substitutions to be done a little bit earlier than they were in that game. But Maynard knows more than I do. But from me sitting there, like watching the game, you just like the people, all the fans around us as well were saying it when they told him like get Jarvis on or get so and so on. You just feel like the subs should be made so much earlier than they have been doing so.
That game massively frustrated me. You know what? Failing to score against Port Vale in both games this season is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The amount of chances we had in both games. I would love to know what the XG across both games is because we won't play a side this season and not score and have a higher XG than that. I doubt obviously, there's some sides we put 5 past like Bromley. I doubt there's any side we only put 2 or 3 goals past that we have a lower XG against than that Port Vale game. Really, really frustrating. And I don't know how I've never really bought into it, George, but just how much of an issue is how much of an issue is now not being able to beat teams in and around us. For me,
Oh,
it's
it's
a
massive, isn't it?
it's a real big issue now.
It's a huge issue. Yeah, to be honest, I think there is a couple of clubs around us that are similar. I can't think off the top of my head who they were, but look, if we don't get automatic and we drop into playoffs, there's that mental advantage, isn't there? That we've struggled against these teams throughout the season, and it takes a lot of sort of character. I think character that I think we have when we have a full squad. But when we've got a few injuries and stuff like that, and we've got key players missing, which we have for the last couple of weeks, it's not what it should be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, the Port Vale game's gone. You look at that, we should have beaten Port Vale over both games. We should have also had Walsall out of sight, the league leaders, absolutely gone, finished, 3-4 down at half time. We just can't do it. We just can't. We just can't put some of these teams away. I tell you, a game I'm excited for that's been changed now. I'm excited to see Crewe come to Medellin because we massively owe Crewe one. Not a massive fan of that club. The fans are fine. I mean, in terms of the team, the players, we just never play well against them. They give it the big one. I'd love, because they're on a poor run of form as well, them to come to Medellin and we absolutely hammer them. Let's have a look. Some comments in there, just having a look. To be honest, George and Tom didn't look too happy stood with us singers at Port Vale as they always sit in the Pavis. I tell you what, at Port Vale, I was, looked across. I prefer to stand at away games. I prefer to stand at every away game. I think the atmosphere improves massively if you stand. I'm thinking Grimsby away in that season where Ruben scored. Just standing at away games for me massively improves the atmosphere, and I think we need to get them over the line in some of these games, especially when we go away to like Wimbledon in a few weeks. When, if I remember rightly, some of you you sat below the pitch if you choose to sit below ground level. We really, really need to, get over the line. What have we got left? Was that game 31 or 32?
I think
we might have. I think it might be 31. I think we've got 15 games left. 2 weeks ago, we're sat saying 10 wins from 17 should do it. Now you're looking at, or was it 9 wins from 17? You're now looking at 9 wins from 15. That's a lot trickier to get.
Yeah.
It is tricky. Going on to Tuesday then, I've had a bit of a thing with Jordan, haven't I, about this postponed Colchester game. It's when we're in a bad run of form against Salford. And I'll say it. We had a debate of which was the easier game to get your points in. He was adamant it was Salford, wasn't he? He said it was fairly. He said it was good that Colchester had been postponed because he thought we'll get points at Salford, and then we get to play Colchester at home later in the season when we've got players back. Well, we got battered by Salford 3-0. And then Colchester came, and were they the better team, do you think? I'd probably say so.
Yeah, probably.
I don't really know what to make of that result. I mean, their form table is great for them. They're really good in the form table, but you've got to beat them. There's not even, in my opinion, an area for debate. You have to beat them, because if you don't beat them, the game in hand's gone. I think one side below us have a game in hand over us. If I'm thinking right, what did you make of the whole performance?
Well, 15 minutes. I thought we were looking all right, really. But I mean, after that, it was just tough watching, wasn't it? Really. It's crazy, like how fast football moves. Because I remember going into work a couple of weeks ago. I think it might have even been not the Monday, just gone the Monday before that, and I went in and I said, I think we're going to win the league. And do you know now? I don't even think we're going to get top 3. Like I'm not convinced. I know we've got a lot of injuries and we've got players coming back and stuff like that, but it just feels like we're lacking a bit of bite, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's something not quite there. We're not finishing some really, really good chances, and we just seem to lapse concentration. That sort of passing around the back against Colchester at times, it was just such a difficult watch, wasn't it? it sort of felt like last season a little bit, didn't it? At times in that game, where you're just thinking, what is going on? Like, what are we watching here? It's like some of the players are just on a completely different page. And I get it. They've not played like that. That team haven't played loads of minutes together, but we're so deep into the season now. We can't afford for those sort of frailties to come to the forth. You know what I mean? We need to have players that are used to playing with each other, whether that be in training or in games, and ready to go. You know what I mean? Ready to sort of play. But I mean, some of the passing on Tuesday night was just shocking.
It was. And also, do you know what? We score that goal. Fantastic ball from Gordon, to be fair. A really, really great ball in.
Yeah.
A very good ball. Good to see that, because his deliveries have been decent recently. And then we go and pass the ball out from the back and almost let them score. Well, that sets the tone for the whole game. If you go on the front foot for the next 5 minutes and look like you're going to score a second, and you might obviously get the second, but if you look like you're going to score a second, that breeds so much confidence. But one mistake like that, it sets the tone for the game. Do you know what I mean? The rest of the game, you're allowing them back in instantly. I think one of the worst things you can do to a team, because they pressed us quite well in part, and the worst thing you can do in a game is show like panic in any situation. And we instantly showed panic, because teams thrive on that. You know what the manager's halftime team talk is going to be. He probably went in, Danny Cowley, and said, look what happened when you put a bit of pressure on them. They passed the ball out to you. We should have scored. And then what's Maynard? What do you know Maynard's halftime is going to be? Nothing for the first 5 minutes. Score. And then, I mean, could you imagine if we'd have lost that game? It's interesting. You mentioned the injuries, right? And if you're thinking of injuries right now, I think of real noticeable teams in the media with the injury crisis. It's Spurs, isn't it? And I hear people coming on the radio, talk sport, or online social media say you can't blame injuries, you can't do this, you can't do that. The manager's got to set a team out. I don't subscribe to that idea. I 100% think you can, and not. Look, we're not decimated, are we? We put Matty Platt out, we put Jatta out, we put Palmer, Abbott. Like we put a good side out. You 100% can attribute this like little slump to injuries. 100%. Well, what's your thoughts? And I see I don't see any logical explanation or any argument where people say you can't blame injuries and just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it obviously the finger would point to that, wouldn't it? The lack of key players that we have at the minute. Like Jones, really, he's our star player, isn't he?
13 games.
Yeah, like when we come up against teams and they hear that Jones isn't in the squad, that's a lift for them, without a doubt. Same with McGoldrick. I mean, McGoldrick has been exceptional this season. Like, can you imagine coming up against Notts and you're thinking, like the big names for them, they've got Jones, they've got Jatta, they've got McGoldrick, and two of those three aren't in the squad. Do you know what I mean? So that's a big lift for the opposition.
And I'd argue to say one of those three doesn't even play as well when. So Jatta doesn't even play as well when Dizzy's there.
Yeah, I mean that's another conversation, but I mean, referencing Spurs, I mean they have got a major injury crisis and they are right down the league. We're still up there. Do you know what I mean? We're still in contention for automatic. We could even maybe push to win the league if we go on a crazy run from here on out. But it's not likely, is it? No. So yeah, no. This is where my sort of I don't know, a bit like neither here nor there on, because there is part of me that thinks like a club having an identity is important because it's sort of a platform to build from, isn't it? It's players come to us because of the way that we play football and things like that, and the club itself sort of has that name for it, doesn't it? Like when we get opposition fans on, they know what Notts are about and how we play and things like that. But I just feel like there's a bit of a lost art in winning a game. Do you know what I mean? Winning the game that's in front of you. I don't know, like maybe it's a different sort of reference, but you see it a lot in the Premier League when, like, for example, Southampton, when they went up and then they're still trying to play the same way that got them promoted from the Championship, which I understand. But if it isn't working and you're continuing to do it, is that not insane? Do you know what
They're
I mean?
doing well, though.
They're not, though. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, Does that make Martin a good manager? Obviously, he got sacked, but just to stick into those principles. Whereas I understand the identity thing, surely he has to look and say, look, I can play this way, similar to the way that Man City play with the best players in the world. Like you're gonna struggle, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? It's obviously a different reference, isn't it? But if you've got your key players out, look, we've got a good team in our league, haven't we? We've probably got one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
But when we've got key players missing, do we need to switch it up a little bit? And look, we've seen it a little bit. Like I was just sort of saying against Port Vale when we was going long, when they sort of had us penned in. But
Didn't work though, did it?
Huh?
It didn't work, and it just kept coming back. But is that because we don't do it? Do we even practice that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But do you know what I'm trying to get at? Like,
yeah.
I understand the identity thing, but it just like one thing that sort of gets me as well, and maybe it's just my perception of football. Well, it is my perception of football, but when you hear it, like, what's that saying? I think Bertrand used to say it a couple of times, and it's like the result is is sort of a byproduct of the way you play. It's a byproduct of the game. That to me, that just sounds mad. When I first heard it, I thought, oh, that's actually a really good way to think about it. But now, like when you see it in action and you're thinking, we're trying to play this certain way, and it's not like it's not working, because we are up there. But there's been a few games this season where I think we need to change something here, whether it be personnel or the way that we're attacking the game.
Yeah, no, I fully get it. I get what you're saying. One of the worst things, obviously not one of the worst things that happened. One of the best things that's ever happened to me supporting Notts ever. But the goal against where we equalised against Boreham Wood. Somewhere, whether it was a radio commentary, TV commentary, someone posted it on Twitter, like a pundit said something like, "Look, they stuck to their principles. They played the same way, and they got the goal." That's kind of one of the like. I don't mean it's a bad thing that happened. It's an incredible goal, but like, I think that's kind of stuck with a few people and say, look, we carried on playing against Boreham Wood and we got it. Well, yeah, we did. We won game against a team that just wanted to sit in from the minute they scored their second goal at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
we have to change it. Going long didn't work at all.
it's not even like this. It's not like there's two styles of football. There's loads of styles of football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whether it be change shape of it, or move someone out there. Just a bit of confusion. Like you look at Arsenal. They just went on to beat Leicester, like sort of late on in that game, and they put a centre midfielder on up top. I'm not saying do that, but I'm just saying that they did something different and it worked. Do you know what I mean? Just surprise the opponents a little bit, because I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a boring, grumpy person, but.
Darren says, I disagree, George. Whilst winning is important, when he goes to football to be entertained, the style of football is really important to me.
But it's not like I just said, it's not like there's two styles of football. I'm not saying, park the bus and then start going long. I just think change it up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's not like the style that we play at the minute is the most attractive. Well, we entertained on Tuesday.
There's not many games this season where I've thought this is incredible football.
Yeah.
But there have been some. Here's a question then. Let's take it to a different club. Would you rather be sat mid-table as a championship club, not Notts, because obviously you'd take that, mid-table as a championship club, or would you rather be watching Burnley play every week? Because there's no entertainment there at all.
Yeah. But that's obviously like the one end of the spectrum to the other. Do you know what I mean? There's definitely some differentials from sort of the top end to the bottom end of the spectrum. But I mean, I'm sure it is frustrating. Like another example of that is, do you remember when Chelsea won loads of games 1-0, and their fans
the champ Boreham Chelsea,
and you're winning. You know what I mean? Like there obviously is more to football than winning games. But at the same time, like when you sat there frustrated with the way that it's being played time after time, and you just feel like we could change something, maybe just change it a little bit. I'm not saying change the complete identity of the club. I just think sometimes, and I'm not just singling out us as a club, just a bit more adaptability to games.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. I do. I think there has to be a kind of a plan B. Definitely needs to be a plan B. But were fourth with the way we play, with Jody Jones playing 13 games, with about 4 of those limited minutes because he was coming back from a long-term injury.
Mm.
So he's essentially played and been involved, fully fit in 9 games, and we're sat fourth.
Yeah.
Now, going right back to what I said maybe 5 minutes ago, injuries for me, 100% impact. We've had Didsey and Jody, or even one of each. I think we beat Port Vale, and I think we beat Colchester. And then look where we'd be. We'll be what? 5 points better off? Laughing. We'll be laughing. We'll be chasing down Walsall for the sake of a couple of players injured. You also look at it as I don't think Edwards is anywhere near the level I can't. Some people say, "Oh, he's come back from injury, a different player." Yeah, he only played about 4 or 5 games, didn't he? So I don't even know if I can make a judgment on him there.
What, before he got injured?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was wicked before he got injured. I thought he was really, really good. He was 10 times better than what he has been.
So
that just makes me wonder. I mean, he can't have been rushed back because they don't rush players back, do they? But something definitely isn't right since he's come back.
He seems a yard off everything. I watched him against Colchester.
Yeah, he does. It's mad.
And to be fair, I watched him against Port Vale, and every ball just bounced over his head. It's like he was in the wrong place for every moment. And I don't want to go on about it, but you've gone from having, and this is where I think the problem is, you've gone from having Jatta playing in front of Crowley and David McGoldrick to now playing in front of 2 players that have just come back from injuries. One of them is just bang out of form. Not saying he's a bad player, he's just not in form. And the other one is, I think Grant goes missing in games. I do. I think there were parts of that Port Vale game where I thought, Welling, he's getting in on the ball, this and that. I just don't think there's not enough of a presence from those 2 there. So Whittaker. I read somewhere that Whittaker didn't play against Port Vale for workload. Played like 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
What workload? Like, come on, we're in a promotion race here. Whittaker could have come on against Port Vale and done something. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard for me though, you know. I think it's easy for me to sit here and say this player should have come back and this player should have come on. But do you know we'd also be sat here and saying, like, you know, if he'd have put Whittaker on and, you know, you were saying all the workload was too high, he'd be criticised for that. So I don't know. It just feels to me that there's a couple of wrong decisions that they're in it, and it just feels a bit frustrating, doesn't it? Especially with substitutions, it feels. But it's not like it's been once or twice. It's been like a few games where we've been struggling.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes you do have to give credit to the opposition. Do you know what I mean? Like Port Vale, you know, defended their goal exceptionally well last week, didn't they? They literally made it impossible for us to score because we didn't, and we had some really good chances. So you got to give them some credit, but then it does sort of fall on the feet of us, doesn't it, to be better.
You know who's good at giving opposition credit, or who was very good? Luke Williams.
Yes.
Sacked by Swansea.
Yeah.
It's not gone that well for people that have left us, has it?
Well, obviously, I saw a press conference where he's sort of talking about someone's coming in, you know, someone that I know, and everyone was sort of aligning it with it being Richard Montague. Obviously, we've lost as well. And then Montague comes in, and then like a week, is it not even a week later, Williams gets the sack.
Yeah.
I mean, so Montague's first job is to replace the guy that probably got him lined up for the job. You know, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad the way football.
Yeah. I mean, he's what a manager for Notts. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. That season, that run, the player. Oh my goodness me! Like, and Notts legend, absolute legend. Like, there's no debate.
I feel like you're going to throw a butt in here.
Yeah, left to go to Swansea and we were told, you know, it's a club very close to his heart, and then tried to go to West Brom, and it's just not worked. Mack has left and gone to the Championship. Again, what a legend. 42 goals in the season, not worked. So yeah, if you'd have said, "Will it work out for those two, the player and the manager?" I said 100%. 100% will do well.
Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube somewhere of me going on a Millwall podcast just the day they signed him, and I said I'd be absolutely amazed if he doesn't score a minimum of 10 goals. He scored 1.
Yeah,
There's no way he's getting 10.
Still plenty of games to be played. Yeah,
He can't even get on the bench.
I know.
It's sad, isn't it? Really, really sad. Really sad. It sounds like being quite negative. We're sat in 4th, and let's go to the poll question now then. And it's can we finish top 3? Do you believe we can finish top 3? Have you got the results there?
No, I haven't. No, I do believe we can finish top 3.
I do. I absolutely do. I really do. Got some massive, massive games coming up, but I do think we can finish in the top 3. I think, I'm not saying it all hinges on this weekend against Tranmere, but when we have to win the game, 100% have to win the game. There's no like debate. It has to be a solid win as well, I think. I mean, would all take the 3 points, but it's got to be a very, very big win, in my opinion. You look at Tranmere, 22 goals scored. Horrendous. Jatta's got 14 or something like that, nearly 15.
Yeah.
Nearly hit that mark. So lowest scores in the league.
Yeah.
Joint worst defence in the league. Worst away form in the league. 1 win in 12. Still, if I've not missed something while I was away, they've still got the manager. So it's not like they're going to get a bounce. I mean, what I would like to see is just go out and attack them. Don't try and control the game. Just go out and try and blitz them. That's what I would like to see. What about you? Or do you think we stay the way we're playing? Because we did that against bottom of the league Carlisle and nearly paid the price.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to see, like you say, I'd like to see us obviously do a job on Tranmere, and it's the obvious thing to say, isn't it? Because we're sat here as Notts fans, but if it's playing the way that we've been playing, then great. But I don't know, like I don't know.
You don't have a clue. Just like to see us thump them 5-0.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice.
How would you feel leaving the ground with a similar performance to Carlisle at home with a win 1-0, but be under pressure towards the end? Would you obviously you'd still take it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you take 3 points every day, but yeah, you'd be concerned. Like if we're aiming for that top 3, we've really, like you just said, we've got to win. What is it? 9 out of our last 15 games, really, to sort of guarantee it.
Yeah,
that's a huge ask. Like, that is a massive ask. But I mean, if it takes a 1-0 against Tranmere to sort of get them 3 points, and we've got a couple of players coming back, and then obviously we go into Fleetwood the following week, and we've got like our main team back, then yeah, I mean, you just sort of ride it out. And like you say, it could just be a patch because we've missed players. But we've just got to get out of it, haven't we? Because it does feel like a bit of a rut at the minute, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think it has to be convincing. You're not going to play a team many seasons in lower sort of spirits and confidence than we are. I mean, they scored 22. We're actually pretty good at keeping clean sheets. We should be keeping a clean sheet here. So, saw a comment the other day, and I don't know what you make of it. Someone said Matty Platt struggled without Jacob Bedu. Or do you think? I disagree with that personally. I just think it was a very, very off day. What are your thoughts? Bedu was a massive miss.
He was huge miss, like massive. He's such a key player for us, isn't he, Bedu?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose a little bit. I think he's been playing with him all season, hasn't he? So you sort of get used to the players around you, and you get used to the runs that they make and things like that. So maybe a little bit, but I'd say, like you say, he did have a bit of an off day for sure.
that made me laugh. So, like, it literally sums up our injury crisis at the minute, where Maynard said in his presser that Bedu picked up an injury against Port Vale, didn't even know about it. So, like, the players don't even know they're carrying injuries. Like, it's just so frustrating, isn't it? So frustrating. Look at this, Callum, 19 months. A member, that is actually incredible. 2 years, you get a handshake. But if we can't see it again, it has to be through the post, Callum, unfortunately. Still no NCT karaoke.
Must have missed it then.
That I did sing the other week.
It's happened.
I definitely sang at the end of a. What
You'll have to go through
it
every episode and watch back. I'm not going to tell you.
I genuinely think it was 2 weeks ago. At the end, yeah, it was either that or the one before.
I think it was last week's episode.
Live from the stand. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Players anagram. Someone did get it earlier. Alison Lugg was Louis Lang. Remember him, George?
No.
No, didn't think you did. You're too busy thinking about NCT karaoke. Not counting 5 seconds. Need a full 90 minutes. Callum says 90-minute karaoke. I think I won't be able to sing for 90 minutes. No way. Not at the standard. There is one. There's one video, isn't there? There's one video that will not be released of me, you, and Will singing karaoke in Belgium with Jake just stood at the front, just with his arms outstretched. That video will be released to the public when we win the championship. I think that's a deal. So if we go up second or playoffs, no. Concerned about not replacing Saunders twins. We have no EFL experience in the coaching staff other than the goalkeeping coach, says Terry. Yeah. That's Saunders video.
I said this a couple of weeks ago, though, didn't I? I mean, make of that Saunders video that was released, it's been a couple of weeks now. Make of it what you will. He seems to sort of paint a picture of, I don't know what sort of picture he's painting, to be honest with you. It's from what I've heard and from what he said, it's just
they don't match up.
Yeah. But I mean, it could all be hearsay. He could be absolutely right in what he's saying. I'm not here to criticize, but it did seem like he didn't mind sort of taking all the credit. You know what I mean, for certain results and things like that. But anyway, but yeah, look, I said this a couple of weeks ago. You're gonna miss stuff like that. Staff that are working on details and stuff like that, and you've not really replaced them. It's a member of staff that already was at the club, so you are missing sort of two key members of staff.
Well, João Alves now, he's kit man, drives the bus to away games, served me my pie the other day.
Did he?
I mean, yeah. What else? What else is? He's on the tannoy now. Turnstile in the club shop the other day. A man of many talents. I agree. I don't know what to make of the Saunders interview. Don't really care that much, if I'm honest. He's left. Just a couple of things that I did obviously watch it, but I just don't. One thing that doesn't add up to me is you're looking to further yourself in a coaching career. So why leave a team fighting for promotion with a fantastic squad halfway through a season if there's no job to go to? I just don't.
You'd want that promotion on your CV, wouldn't you?
Well, also, yeah. I just think in football things come out at bad times, and it happens. It just happens all the time. Like it obviously caused a big stir on social media, and we've seen at this level, right? Every player, whether you like it or not, whether you tweet something, players will see tweets of fans. Look at did you see what's happened at Gillingham the other week? There was that podcast with fans.
Yeah.
And the players are replying to it. I think Bradley Dykes replied to it or something, and they're commenting, putting emojis out and things. We're on a promotion push. I don't think whatever's happened has been brushed under the carpet, and we're not getting the 100% truth. Just leave it there. Like, just anything that distracts from a promotion push, I don't really want to hear it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Do I believe it? Face value? No. Do I believe some of it? Yeah. But like I said, he's gone now. And I'm not really that fussed, but just anything not to distract from a promotion push. It happens all the time. It happens with every side. Yeah. It's just, that's my take on it, really. I just don't quite understand it. Wayne says, thought Saunders was going to come out with the eye of a dream at one point, had a part to play, but didn't realise he'd completed football. Yeah. We'll leave it with that one, I think. We'll leave it with that comment. One thing I think is very, very, very important, George, is the lineup on Saturday, which actually is tomorrow.
Yeah, strange.
I'm all thrown out. I'm all thrown out. I genuinely am thrown out, you know.
Believe you.
Yeah. Bass in goal.
Yep.
Platt, I'm praying Bedou's back in.
Yeah.
Who else?
I'll probably say McDonald.
Is he fit?
I think he is, isn't he?
I couldn't tell you. I actually can't keep up with injuries. I genuinely can't. I went to find my seat the other day. I said to the steward, "Can you point me in the direction?" Pulled his hamstring. Steward pulled his hamstring. There's just no getting away from it. No, but I actually don't know. I actually don't know if he's fit. I'm going to go probably with Zach Johnson. I don't think he played fantastically well, but I'd put him in there. I think we're going to pen them in, and what I think he's good at is driving the ball out from defence. I like him a lot in terms of that. I'm hoping we don't have to do a massive amount of defending on Saturday. I think, do you agree with me? I'm going to go midfield too before I go the wing backs. I'm going to go Abbott and Palmer.
Yeah.
One thing that does concern me a little bit is we're relying on it seemed like we were relying on a 19-year-old George Abbott to really drive us on Tuesday night. And like someone said the other day, if you're relying on a 37-year-old David McGoldrick and to come back and sort every issue, you also can't rely on a 19-year-old George Abbott to do the same. Like that's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. But I mean, he was good again, really good. And I'm going to put those two in the centre midfield, I think. It was close. I was going to put Robertson and Sloth in there, but I'm going for Abbott and Palmer. Wing backs are a different story.
Yeah.
Because that cross from Gordon's improving. I thought Gordon was pretty good in the 60 minutes against Port Vale as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to see Jody back, do you think?
I hope so. I'm not 100% sure. You know, the cards are sort of close to the chest, aren't they, now with injuries, and have been for a few years. So should we just go for it as if he's not going to be there?
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be Gordon and Cerula.
Yeah.
I think. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one then, because no, I'm going to change it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am, actually.
What are you going to change?
Change my mind. That's what I've changed.
Oh, good lad.
I'm then going Whittaker and Jarvis behind Jatta. Because I don't think Dids is going to be available.
Whittaker and Jarvis behind Jatta. What about Traore?
He come off the bench.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
I think I just want to see. I know I'm leaving Grant out, who scored a goal, but I just think attack them. Just really go for it. I mean, let us know what you think. I think that's the key question is who's going to play really in behind Jatta. Would you be opposed to, say, Whittaker starting and Traore and Jatta starting?
No.
Yeah.
Would you?
No. You could be in a situation here, like it's just been commented, Jody, Jacob, and Didsey all on the bench, which would be really, really strong.
Yeah.
I feel like the Didsey injury came out a bit of nowhere,
Yeah, there's been a few like that this season, though, aren't there?
Yeah.
Well, then in saying that, he's played a lot of football, hasn't he? This
Oh,
season.
man, I said Didsey and Jones both out.
There we go.
Um,
They'll be on the bench then.
both start.
Yeah.
Cards close to our chest, as we
Yeah.
like to do.
That's a smoke grenade, that is.
I mean, I just want to see us go out and really attack them. Do you remember though? We've had a couple of games. I mean, the Bradford one's a bit of an anomaly, but to be 2 up at half time. Apart from the Bradford one, just go and kill a game, kill a team off. You've got a team that scored 20. I don't want to jinx anything. You've got a team that scored 22 goals this season. If you put yourself 2-0 up, the law of averages says they're not going to come back. They don't even score one a game.
The law of
against
averages also comes into contention when it's a Notts County, though. That's a very Notts County thing to do, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, a Notts County thing to do would be to lose 2-1.
Yeah.
And then will be an absolute meltdown.
Mm.
My frustration, to sort of end this video as we're getting close to the end, my frustration is not born out of Stuart Maynard. It's not born out of the players. It's not born out of anything like that. My sole frustration is I don't want us to throw away this season because I think the league is pudding. That's what I'm going to say.
Pudding.
I think the league is pudding. I've said it a few times on here. I think probably when I've been describing Chesterfield or something. It is a terrible league. It really is.
There's definitely some good clubs in it this season, for sure. But
There are some good clubs.
Maybe an advocate for that would be, not one single Walsall fan would have told you they'd be top of the league, and now they are top of the league.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Look at it compared to last year.
Yeah, exactly. There's some heavy hitters that have gone up in there for sure.
Yeah. Right now, gut feeling, who goes up? Automatic. Who's your 3? I think it's really tough.
I think it's going to be Walsall, isn't it? They'll scrape through, even
Yeah,
if they don't.
I think they can win. I think they can win 5 more games when they go up.
Yeah.
So I agree. Who are the other 2?
It's obviously between Port Vale and Donny, in it.
Wimbledon.
They could as well, yeah. Jeez.
Did you see Wimbledon got absolutely battered by Fleetwood and drew 0-0? Fleetwood had 19 shots to 4. We go to Fleetwood in a week's time. I go Walsall.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick my neck on the line here, So I'm going to say Bradford and Notts.
Bradford on a run, to be fair.
I think I'm going to go that. And then I think Walsall. That's what my heart says. My head says that Wimbledon get in there.
Yeah, I think...
They're a good side.
I think Port Vale. I think Walsall, Port Vale. And I'm going to say Notts. Why not? Only just.
I think Port Vale were pudding, to be fair, when we played them. They defended their box well, but...
They won the games, though. They won the games.
Yeah, won the game. That away game against Wimbledon is going to be absolutely massive. Huge. 12:30 kickoff, I believe. Going to be tough. Right, score prediction for the game then, George. I'm just going to go out. I'm going to say what I want, not what I think is going to happen. Okay?
Okay.
4-0 Notts.
How much?
Well, I think it's going to 4-0. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
My Traore 4 goals. If he'd have scored that goal against Port Vale that hit the bar, unreal. I'm going to say, right, here's my prediction, and come back to me next week. Okay, clip this. 4-0 Notts, and Tranmere sack the manager.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Notts.
I think even conceding would be poor.
It would, yeah, absolutely. But I just think got some key players missing.
Yeah. Fair enough. We've got 6-0 Chickton and Platt hat trick. We've got 5-0, 2-0, 3-0. To be fair, they've both got about the same chance of getting a hat-trick, in my opinion. We've got 1-0 and a strange sense of dissatisfaction. I could also see that happening. Not should win easily, so 2-2. 3-1 here. Let's see if I've got any more. We've got a 4-0 here. We've got 3-0 from Jurgen. We've got 2-0 knots, one in each half. Just if we do win, just make it. Just
enjoy it.
Just make it be comfortable. I don't want any horrible last minute clear off the line like we do against Carlisle or anything like that. We're going to end with this one. We've got 3-0 knots, Jata Traore and Whittaker. I would love that. Love that. Yeah. Enjoy the game if you are going tomorrow. Well, I say enjoy it. Hopefully we can enjoy the game. We will have and it's all black and white episode out very, very shortly after full time. So be sure to check that out. We're going into a very, very busy period at the end of the season. Fleetwood coming up, Wimbledon coming up, as I've already mentioned. Thank you to everyone that has joined us on this Friday. Hopefully we haven't seen too down. We are pretty confident. I think we still get top three, but we've had to talk about, the last two games and we picked up 1 point from possible 6. So appreciate everyone getting involved in the comments. And please do subscribe if you haven't already, because we are now over 4,100 subscribers.